about time I did a boss related countdown, and what better way to start with my 10 favourite. All these bosses are composed of 3 factors: how enjoyable they are, whether they have a lasting impact on me, and the situation and atmosphere going on during the battle. 3 rules. These are bosses from games I've played and versed. Only one boss per game franchise, and no final boss battles. I'll save that for my next countdown. Finally, these are just my choices and opinions, not the official greatest boss battles of all time, just my choices. With that said, this is Mad Jack 64's Top 10 Favourite Boss Battles. Let me just say that I'm not a huge fan of the Mega Man series. I just never found many of the games enjoyable, and it hasn't been treated very well in recent years. But Mega Man 2 is an amazing game. The gameplay is addicting, the music is legendary, and the bosses are amazing. All 8 of the Robot Masters were really fun to battle, but if I had to go with one, I'd of course have to go with Metal Man. Metal Man is the only boss that really puts up a challenging battle, as he's constantly jumping and throwing his metal blades, which are hard to dodge because of the constant changing conveyor belts. And need I say about the reward for defeating him, that metal blades are the most overpowered weapon in Mega Man history. They decimate everything, and that is why Metal Man is an awesome boss. Out of all the rivals in the Pokemon series, N has to be the most unique. He doesn't start out as the ultimate epitome of evil who just wants to rule the world. No, he just starts out as an eccentric, misunderstood man. It turns out down the line that he's actually the leader of Team Plasma. That's right, the same people you've been versing this entire game. I never would have guessed this guy was the leader. Just look at his hair. After finally gathering all 8 gym badges and managing to defeat the Elite Four for the billionth time, N makes his triumphant return and manages to do the unthinkable. He actually manages to capture the other box art legendary. With this new formidable Pokemon at his command, he becomes even more challenging, even with his arsenal of Pokemon, which include Kyrocoaster, Archeops, Zoroark, Vanilluxe, and Klinklang. And when you defeat his legendary with yours, you feel so powerful. I've been capturing legendaries for 10 years now, and you ain't got nothing on me. I could basically put every single boss from Sonic Generations on this list. They were all creative, enjoyable, and specifically, epic. But if I had to choose one, I would definitely have to go with the Egg Dragoon on hard mode. Why on hard mode? I just like the increased difficulty, that's all. Taking straight from Sonic Unleashed, this time you don't play as that stupid werehog. To harm the Egg Dragoon, Sonic must homing attack the pod Eggman is seated in, but getting to him is the hard part. Eggman is constantly switching positions, firing heat-seeking drills, lasers, beams, and icicle blasts, but his most dangerous method of attack is this constant barrage of annoying quotes. Not bad! Free! Time for a change of pace! Shut up! To reach Eggman, you can either dodge all his attacks and get close to him, or use a ramp to grind on some rails and launch yourself at him. As the battle progresses, the camera will switch to 2D, and you must dodge his constant barrage of ice blasts. He will then try to crush you, but you can wall jump out and homing attack to continue. After enough hits, a portal will open, you will start free falling, and must home in onto him to land the final blow. Finally, the face Sonic makes at the end is hysterical. That sums up the entire battle.
Uh-oh.
Me. I am the great Mighty Poo, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat?
If you just pissed yourself in laughter, you are not alone. The Great Mighty Poo is a rare boss in which it isn't memorable for the battle itself, it's remembered for the situation going on. You, an alcoholic foul-mouthed squirrel, are fighting a giant singing pile of crap. Just take that in for a moment. Is that not epic or what? Great Mighty Poo attacks by throwing balls of itself at you. Yeah. Eventually he will sing his solo and open his mouth. By using the context-sensitive pads, yes, that's what they're called, you must throw rolls of toilet paper down his mouth. Every time you do this, he will continue with the next verse of his song.
Do you really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in. Sweet corn is the only thing that makes it through my rear. How do you think I keep this lovely grin? Now I'm really getting rather mad. You're like a niggly, tickly, shitty little tag nut. When I've knocked you out with all my bab, I'm going to take your head and ram it up my butt.
Your butt.
My butt.
Your butt.
That's right, my butt.
Ugh.
My butt. My butt!
And on the second time, his voice will start to crack the glass, containing the flushing lever. I think you know where we're going with this. After a final round of toilet paper flinging, he will sing so loudly it will shatter the glass. This is your cue to send this beast back to where he came from, and the final moment is generally funny.
Ah, you cursed squirrel, look what you've done! I'm blushing! Oh, what a world, what a world! Who'd have thought a good little squirrel like you could destroy my beautiful flagginess? Oh, I'm going! Oh, no!
Great Mighty Poo, combining the funny and epic side of a boss battle. For the most part, the bosses in Kingdom Hearts for me ranged from hard to just plain annoying. But the second battle with Axel was perfect. The battle was not too hard, but not too easy either. It just had that perfect difficulty. Axel's method of attacks are rapid slashing sword slices, and creating pillars of fire across the battlefield. My strategy, the best way to extinguish Axel, is to use the action commands to deal some serious damage. Why isn't it any higher? Well, Axel has quite low health, meaning this boss battle will be over quite quickly. If he had more health, this would be a lot higher on the list. Oh yeah, of course a Zelda boss would make the list, but it all came down to personal taste. What is my favourite Zelda boss of all time? Phantom Ganon? Nah. The Helmrock King? Nah. Hell, the Baronade? This was going to be number one, but if I had to choose my favourite, I'd definitely have to go with Star-Lord from Twilight Princess. Creativity doesn't even describe this boss. Using the spinner, you must ricochet off the walls and statues in the sandy area to hit Star-Lord in the spine. After a nut hits, Star-Lord will crumble and you will emerge triumphant. Or not. Star-Lord's head is still independent, and the only way to truly defeat him is to destroy the head. This is where the fight gets really good. To get to Star-Lord's head, you must spin up the elevating tower to get to him. Star-Lord now shoots fire at you, and the player must jump from tower to tower to reach him, and when you do, you must slash away at the skull until it breaks. Hands down, the most creative boss in the Zelda series yet.
You call that breaking my spine? You red team ladies wouldn't know how to break a spine. My spine!
Oh yeah, of course Mad Jack would make the list. Being the inspiration for my identity, Mad Jack has had a huge impact in my life. He was the reason I couldn't sleep at night. He was the one who terrified me from playing any game. He was also the Donkey Kong 64 boss I could never beat for years. First off, Mad Jack is a giant psychotic killer jack-in-the-box duck with sharp claws, teeth, that shoots lasers and hurls flaming meteors.
You know, for kids.
Once you get over his demonic appearance and laugh, he really does put up a challenging fight. Mad Jack will chase you for the start of the battle, but eventually he'll stop to fire his laser. In this short window of opportunity, the player must observe what coloured platform Mad Jack is on, and locate the same coloured button around the battlefield. Doing so will electrocute him. However, if you press the wrong coloured button, you'll be electrocuted instead. After repeating this process, Mad Jack will turn up the heat, literally, by chucking flaming meteors at you with dead-on accuracy. Another shock will get him to shut up. Finally, Mad Jack will turn invisible and continue to chase you. A final electrocution will send him back to the scrap pile. Mad Jack, the inspiration for my channel and one of the greatest boss battles in gaming history. When you associate Mario and bosses, many ones come to mind. Here are some of my favourites. Baldigar's Daredevil Run, the second battle with Mighty Poo, Rockhawk, and Baby Bowser's Boomsday Machine. But none of these bosses even compare with the satisfaction I got from facing Junker from Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. I don't think I've ever versed such a satisfying RPG boss ever. This was the first fight in the game I actually lost in. Yeah, I actually survived the Memory Bros, I am not kidding. Junker is also the boss I had the most fun facing. It wasn't so easy it was pathetic, but not so hard it was impossible. He just had that perfect difficulty, you know. Perfect difficulty. That seems to be a trend going through this video. Meh, it works. That and the humour within the battle is just great. One of the moves by Junker is to grab one of his garbage can minions and chuck whatever's inside. However, sometimes nothing comes out, or he'll just chuck out old underwear. Need more proof? Another move is to suck in Luigi and shoot him into one of the garbage can minions. However, sometimes he'll actually miss, and you get to use Luigi for another turn. I don't know whether to laugh or to cry during this boss. It combines humour and challenge into what seems like a perfect blend. This is why it is my favourite Mario boss of all time, but not the greatest boss of all time, which is, well, we still have 2 more spots left. One of the many highlights of Banjo 2 was the inclusion of boss battles. Although a majority of the bosses were ridiculously easy, looking at you old King Cole, there were actually 3 that were both challenging and enjoyable. Lord Wu Fak Fak, Mr. Patch, and the best boss battle in the game, Weldar. Why? Well, for starters, he was just the only boss that was actually innocent for battling. He was just doing his job, even though his job was to eradicate all bears in the building. It almost makes you feel sorry for him. Not really. And the music that plays during the battle is actually my second favourite boss theme of all time. Yeah, I said that. Welder starts off the battle by firing flaming bursts of fire at you, which are really hard to dodge. Eventually he'll use his vacuum breath to suck you in. When this happens, quickly spit a fire or grenade egg into his mouth. The flammable gas inside of him will cause a short explosion. His move pool increases by summoning enemies or chasing after you. Yeah, I have no clue how he's mobile as well. After 2 more explosions, Weldar will raise the stakes. He will start to electrocute the ground, and making running away and dodging twice as hard. God, as if the battle wasn't hard enough. With this increased difficulty and challenge, it only makes defeating Weldar even more satisfying, and his defeat is relatively funny. With his cool concept, awesome music, and challenging difficulty, Weldar is just generally a perfect boss battle. But what boss could top him? Well, let's recap. Number 10, Metal Man. Number 9, N. Number 8, the Egg Dragoon on hard mode. Number 7, Great Mighty Poo. Number 6, Axel. Number 5, Stallard. Number 4, Mad Jack. Number 3, Junker. And number 2, Weldar. So what is my favourite boss battle of all time? It was tough to decide because there are just so many amazing boss battles out there. But if you had to make me choose, my favourite boss would definitely have to come from the world of Metroid. The Metroid series is some of the greatest boss battles ever created, but my favourite comes from Metroid Prime. After finally gathering all the Chozo artifacts, you arrive at the temple and set them up to permanently destroy the Metroid Prime and save the entire galaxy. But guess who happens to show up? None other than your arch nemesis Ridley, now with additional robotic upgrades. And he just destroyed the only possible way to vanquish the Metroid Prime. He killed your parents, he terrorizes all your missions, and is a constant plague in your life. But this time, he's going down. Words cannot describe the sheer adrenaline and urgency this battle emanates. Ridley has gone too far this time, and he needs to be stopped once and for all. The music playing in the background is one of my favourite video game themes of all time, and perfectly suits the robotic nature of your adversary. The only way to truly defeat your arch nemesis is to shoot him out of the sky, but Ridley doesn't go down without a fight. Oh no. He constantly soars around the battlefield and blasts rapid-fire lasers and missiles at frighteningly fast speeds. Meta Ridley will eventually stop and strafe horizontally, which is your cue to blast him at his weak spot, the chest. After enough hits, Ridley will land on the ground and continue the fight, but proves to be an even bigger threat on the ground. His lightning-fast laser beams, claw slashes and tail swings are difficult to avoid and do moderate damage. Ridley also wisens up and covers his weak spot, and Samus must shoot him in the gaping jaw to make him flinch and proceed to blast the hell out of his weak spot. After enough hits, Ridley will be defeated but refuses to lose, that bastard. That's when the temple reactivates and finishes Ridley off with a final blast. The Meta Ridley battle from Metroid Prime is not only my favourite boss battle of all time, but probably the greatest boss battle ever created. The music is great, the atmosphere is dark and adrenaline pumping, and the battle is both challenging and difficult, something I like to see in a boss battle. Meta Ridley, my favourite boss battle of all time.